My wife left me when I lost my 1.2 million startup and took our last, that 15,000. So I invested my final 80,000 in an AI startup that sold for 20 billion. When she sued me, I exposed her affair to the world. There is a special kind of silence that fills a house when a dream dies. It's not peaceful. It's heavy, accusatory, and cold. I was sitting on the floor of my empty startup office, surrounded by the ghosts of my ambition. The server racks were gone, auctioned off to pay our final debts. The sleek, modern furniture had been repossessed. My company, Nexus Logistics AI, was a smoldering crater. 2 years of my life, 1.2 million of my own capital, and the faith of a dozen employees, all gone. The failure was a public, humiliating spectacle in the tech blogs. But the private devastation was far worse. I had lost everything, and in doing so, I discovered the conditional nature of my wife Chloe's love. This is a story for anyone who has hit rock bottom, for anyone who has been betrayed when they had nothing left to give. It's a testament to the power of one final, desperate roll of the dice. If you believe in second chances and brutal, satisfying justice, then you're in the right place. For more epic tales of redemption and comeuppance, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get back to the depths of my despair. The months after the collapse were a blur of grim necessity. I moved into a cramped, one-bedroom apartment that smelled of stale cigarettes and defeat. Every day was a battle against a crushing sense of worthlessness. I took whatever freelance data analysis work I could find, the gig economy becoming my lifeline. I was a 42-year-old man with an MBA from a top school, now optimizing spreadsheets for small e-commerce stores for $50 an hour. The locha was a physical pain. Chloe, my wife of 12 years, watched my unraveling from a growing distance. The woman who had once cheered my every move now looked at me with a mixture of pity and contempt. The argument started as whispers about finances and escalated into screaming matches about my failed potential. She had married the rising star, the future tech titan. She had no interest in being married to a middle-aged man fighting for freelance scraps. "I can't do this anymore. Jacob," she said one night, her voice cold and final, devoid of the warmth I had fallen in love with. "I didn't sign up for a life of struggle. I'm leaving." The divorce was swift and merciless. With no joint assets left to fight over, the house had been sold to fund my startup. There was little for her to take. She got the remaining money in our checking account, a little over $15,000 and the last of our furniture. She walked away clean, leaving me with the wreckage of our life and a soul-deep conviction that I was, as she had implied, a failure. For a year, I simply existed. I worked, I paid my rent, I slept. But a stubborn ember of my old self refused to die. I started saving again, not for a vacation or a new car, but for a chance. I lived on a bare-bones budget, and after 18 months of relentless scraping, I had saved $80,000. It was a pittance compared to what I had lost, but it was everything I had. I decided to go back to the very thing that had destroyed me, the stock market. But this time, I wasn't investing in blue-chip safety. I was hunting for a miracle. I spent my evenings buried in financial reports, tech forums, and SEC filings. I was looking for a company so early stage, so speculative, that it was essentially a lottery ticket. And then I found it. A tiny, obscure company named CogniHome Inc. They were operating out of a university incubator, with a team of brilliant but unknown neuroscientists and engineers. Their research wasn't just another smart speaker. They were developing a true AI-based home control system that used non-invasive neural interfaces to learn and predict a homeowner's needs, adjusting lighting, temperature, and security based on subtle biological cues. It was science fiction, and it was either going to be worth zero or change the world. Their seed funding round was struggling. They were too far ahead of the curve, too weird for traditional VCs. On paper, it was a terrible investment, but my own experience in AI told me the science was sound. This was my moment. It was all or nothing. I liquidated my entire $80,000 savings and called the lead researcher. I didn't want to just buy shares on the secondary market. I wanted a direct, significant stake. My desperation gave me a crazy confidence. I wired them the money in exchange for a 38% equity stake in the company. I was now the largest single shareholder of a company with no product, no revenue, and a wildly ambitious dream. I told no one. If I was going to fail again, I would do it in silence. For 8 months, nothing happened. CogniHome disappeared from my news feeds. My investment was a silent, sleeping beast in my portfolio. its value listed as the $80,000 I had paid. I continued my freelance grind, the hope I had felt slowly being replaced by the familiar chill of regret. I had thrown my last chance away on another fantasy. Then, on a random Tuesday morning, my phone exploded. It was a Bloomberg News alert. The headline was simple: Google acquires obscure AI startup CogniHome for $20 billion. And I read the words over and over, my brain refusing to process them. 20 billion. My 38% stake. The math was impossible, surreal. I was a billionaire. Several times over. The silence in my cramped apartment was now deafening. But for the first time, it was a silence of profound, world-shattering shock, not of failure. The following weeks were a whirlwind of lawyers, financial advisors, and wire transfers of a scale I could barely comprehend. I paid my taxes, a sum larger than the GDP of a small country, and what was left was more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. I bought a modern glass and steel mansion overlooking the Pacific Ocean. I didn't just invest in startups. I became a sought-after venture capitalist, the oracle who had seen CogniHome's potential. My story became a legend in tech circles. I had been resurrected, and of course Chloe heard the news. The woman who had left me for dead saw my face on Forbes and smelled opportunity. She didn't call to congratulate me. Her lawyer did. She was suing me, claiming that my investment in CogniHome was made with marital assets and that she was entitled to a substantial portion of the proceeds. The audacity was breathtaking. She had abandoned me, taken the last of our cash, and now she wanted a share of the fortune I had built from the ashes she had left behind. The lawsuit was a media circus. She gave tearful interviews, painting me as a secretive husband who had hidden a winning lottery ticket. She claimed our divorce was based on fraudulent financial disclosure. I didn't say a word to the press. I simply gave my lawyers one instruction: burn it all to the ground. In court, we presented a simple, devastating case. The bank records showed the $80,000 came from my personal, post-divorce freelance earnings. The investment was dated 6 months after our divorce was finalized. Her case collapsed in a single afternoon. The judge dismissed it with prejudice, calling her claims frivolous and without legal merit. She was ordered to pay my legal fees. But losing in court wasn't enough for Chloe. Humiliated and enraged, she launched a public smear campaign against me. She went on social media, giving detailed and false accounts of our marriage, calling me emotionally abusive, a narcissist, and a fraud. She sent emails to my business partners. She even tried to blackmail me, sending me a private message. Make this go away with a settlement, or I will tell the world about your addiction to painkillers after your surgery. I have the pharmacy records. That was her final fatal mistake. She had decided to play in the mud, not realizing I was standing on a mountain of truth she had forgotten about. I had played defense long enough. It was time to go on the offensive. I went to my safe and retrieved a small encrypted hard drive. On it were screenshots, emails, and GPS location data I had never wanted to use. During the last year of our marriage, while I was desperately trying to save my company, Chloe had been having an affair with my then business partner, Mark. I had discovered it, but in my state of shock and despair had never confronted her. I had simply gathered the evidence and filed it away, a nuclear option I never thought I'd deploy. I calmly compiled every piece of evidence. The romantic emails sent from her account to his while I was in meetings. I thought about it for a long moment. I had won. The world saw her for who she was. My reputation was not just restored. It was cemented as that of a wronged man who had fought back with truth. Fine, I said. Your apology post stays up forever. And if you ever utter my name in public again, the rest of the evidence goes live. Are we clear? She whimpered her agreement. I hung up. I had my vindication. The silence that returned to my mansion was finally truly peaceful. I had lost everything, gambled my last dollar, and won a fortune beyond imagination. But the real victory wasn't the billions. It was the quiet, absolute knowledge that I had faced the worst the world could throw at me. And I had emerged not just wealthy, but free.